If you're a sensitive person, you know the feeling, right? That knot in your stomach, that sudden wave of unease, and the big question that comes with it. Is this a genuine warning, a gut feeling I really need to pay attention to? Or is it just my anxiety acting up again? It's such a confusing place to be, but here's the good news. Telling the difference is actually a skill you can learn. So let's just get right into that question, because it's at the heart of so much of our internal struggle. That feeling of being totally hijacked by a bad vibe can be just, well, it can be overwhelming. But what if I told you the answer isn't just in your head? What if it's literally hardwired into your body? You see, the key to decoding these signals, to telling them apart, is all about understanding your own biology. We're going to start thinking about your autonomic nervous system not as a source of problems, but as this incredibly sophisticated operating system. And once you understand how it works, you can learn to work with it. Okay, so let's get to know this internal operating system of yours. It's working for you 24/7, and its number one job is to keep you safe. And it does this by constantly scanning your environment way, way before you're even consciously aware of what's happening. This automatic process has a name. It's called neuroception. The best way to think about it is like a biological radar that's just always on, constantly sweeping the horizon for signals. It is an automatic, subconscious scanner that's assessing everything and everyone around you for cues of safety or threat. Now, this is so important, especially for highly sensitive people. If that's you, your neuroception scanner might just be dialed up to a much higher sensitivity. It's more likely to pick up on really subtle cues and shift you into a defensive state, which we then feel and label as anxiety or that vague, bad feeling. See, it's not a flaw. It's actually a feature of a highly tuned system. To really get a handle on this, we've got to understand the three distinct states, or, settings, that our nervous system can operate in. These were brilliantly mapped out by Dr. Stephen Porges in his polyvagal theory. And they're hierarchical, which basically means our body has a clear favorite. It prefers to be in one state over the others. So let's break this down. At the very top, the state our body loves most is social engagement. This is your safe, connected, calm state. And it's powered by something called the ventral vagal nerve. When you're here, your intuition is crystal clear, optimal. Then, if your system detects a threat, it kicks you down a level to mobilization. This is your classic fight or flight. When you're here, you feel anxious, panicked, maybe even angry. And your intuition, it gets super distorted and noisy. And if that doesn't work, at the very bottom is immobilization. This is a total shutdown, a freeze state. Here, your intuition is basically offline, completely blocked. So, look, the goal here isn't to never feel anxiety again. I mean, that's just not realistic, right? The real goal is to learn how to spend more time in that top state, that optimal zone for clarity and connection. And that zone, well, it has a name. It's called your window of tolerance. This is your sweet spot. It's the zone where you can handle life's ups and downs without getting totally overwhelmed. And crucially for our conversation, it is the only place where your intuition can come through clearly without all that distortion from fear. And the difference is, well, it's night and day. When you're inside the window, you're calm, you're connected, you feel curious, and your intuition is sharp. But when life pushes you outside of that window, you either shoot up into hyperarousal, that's the anxiety and panic, or you drop down into hypoarousal, which is that numb, collapsed, checked out feeling. And in both of those states, your intuition becomes completely unreliable. We're just gone. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually stay in that window? Well, the really cool news is that you can actually train your nervous system. Seriously, think of it like tuning a musical instrument to get a much clearer, more beautiful sound. The fancy term for this is neurobiological recalibration. But what it really means is that you are literally strengthening the neural pathway for safety and calm. That's your ventral vagal nerve, which acts as a brake on your stress responses. And you do this through simple, physical, body-based practices. So let's get super practical. We're going to look at 3 simple, scientifically backed ways to tone your vagus nerve. Think of these like going to the gym for your nervous system to strengthen that vagal brake. They are humming and gargling, heart-focused breathing, and a really cool practice called orienting. First up, humming and gargling. Now, I know it sounds a little strange, but stick with me because it's incredibly effective. The vagus nerve runs right through the back of your throat. So when you hum or gargle, that physical vibration is directly stimulating the nerve. It's like sending a text message straight to your brainstem that says, hey, everything's cool. We are safe. It is one of the fastest ways I know to physically shift yourself out of a defense. Next up, heart-focused breathing. This is all about creating internal quiet. You know, when your system is in a panic, it's really loud in there. By taking slow, deep breaths, where your exhale is a little longer than your inhale, you're not just relaxing, you're creating a stable, coherent rhythm in your heart and in your body. This calms everything down and creates the perfect internal environment for your intuition to actually be heard above all the noise. And lastly, we have a practice called orienting. This one is so simple it's almost deceptive. All you do is slowly let your eyes scan the room you're in. And I mean really look. Let your head and neck turn gently. Notice a color over there, a shape over here, the way the light is hitting a surface. What you're doing is using your conscious mind to give your subconscious scanner new data. You're showing your nervous system through direct experience, hey, look, there are no tigers here. We are actually safe, in this space, right here, right now. And that simple act allows that calm, connected system to come back online. So what happens when you practice these things? When you get good at tuning your own system? Well, it leads to something incredibly powerful. It leads to a state of inner authority, of real self-mastery. And we can call this sovereignty, but this isn't some lofty, abstract idea. It's a tangible skill grounded in your neurobiology. It's the ability to hold your own center, to stay inside your window of tolerance no matter what chaos is happening around you. And here is the most crucial point of all. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or trying to control every little reaction. It's about giving yourself the power of choice. It's about having the space to engage that vagal brake and respond consciously instead of just reacting automatically from a place of fear. And you know what? This changes everything. You are no longer at the mercy of a system you don't understand. Instead, you become the conscious operator of your own highly sensitive, highly sophisticated biological instrument. And your sensitivity, it becomes your superpower, not your curse. So the next time you feel that familiar knot in your stomach, just remember this. You now have the map. You have the tools. You understand the system. You have a choice. So the only question left is, what response will you choose?